Graham, how bad has it been, and how do you move on from this?
Well, I mean, it's as bad as it gets. I thought I'd seen it all, but you know, we've been through this year. We've restructured. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and we're feeling quietly optimistic about 2021.
So tell me, how will the dynamics of the airline have evolved when things start to return to normal, and when will that be actually too?
Well, I think the three things that I'd like to bring up, obviously, you know, what's in the news a lot is the vaccine, which gives a necessary booster. But I think two other things need to be highlighted as well. One is testing. Testing is going to get easier and quicker, and I think, you know, we're months away from even potentially someone breathing into a breathalyzer and within 30 seconds knowing whether you have COVID or not. And therapeutics, obviously, you know, a lot of the antibody treatments are working. So, you know, you've got a cocktail of vaccines, better testing, and therapeutics, and obviously that has a big impact on airlines. In terms of AirAsia, obviously, you know, today our domestic returns with loosening of some lockdown in Malaysia. Thailand's doing very well. Indonesia had record sales, and Philippines is ramping up. So domestic travel is good, which is where 50% of our capacity is. And I think the first to bounce back when borders open will be regional travel. So we're in a nice position, and obviously leisure and SME flying and migratory workforce is where most of the movement's going to happen initially. And so I think, you know, within the next 6 to 12 months, normalcy or pre-COVID will come back.
So Tony, can you confirm this report about Tata Sons increasing their stake in your joint venture? And if you can confirm that, could you just tell us a little bit about the trials and tribulations that you've had in that country?
Well, I mean, I think what we I don't want to comment on it too much. I don't know what reports that were, but obviously, and Tata are obviously looking at, you know, what the long-term relationship is. For us, our strength is ASEAN, and so we're going to go back to ASEAN. We're looking at expanding our ASEAN base. We're in discussions to start 3 new airlines in Southeast Asia and ASEAN, and so we're constant discussions with Tata, and over the next you know, 3 or 4 months, we will announce a good relationship. It's been very good in terms of building our business outside of flying into India from Southeast Asia, so we just continue.
Tony, just wondering how you're going on the cash flow front. How are you going on the cash flow front, particularly when we're looking at people trying to get refunds from the likes of AirAsia Japan?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going through that process. 86% of our customers have accepted the credit shell. We've been consistent about talking about raising about 2 to 2.5 billion ringgit, and those are on schedule. So, you know, cash flow wise, we said that we'd be okay till December, and now our capital raising is coming up. So we feel quite confident about 2021 and refunds and all these issues will be dealt with as we've been dealing with them throughout the year. The other big cash movement was fuel hedging for us, and in 2020 we've sorted most of that out, and so 2021 looks quite good. We've had great support from our lessors. Business is quite strong, and we've restructured most of our creditors. So yeah, we're feeling quietly optimistic, as I said, for 2021.
Are you confident that the testing that you mentioned earlier is going to be enough to get the general public confident to fly with AirAsia? You're not looking down the routes of, say, what the Qantas CEO has said, that you will have to be vaccinated for international travel?
Well, no, vaccination is something that's out of my control. It depends on each country, whether they want people to be vaccinated or not. But in terms of wanting to travel, I can safely say people want to travel. And you can see that from the sales we're getting. People are desperate to start flying out, and that's the most important thing for me. The demand is there, and we're seeing good demand. In Thailand, for instance, we're already up to pre-COVID levels in domestic, and by the end of this month, we'll be ahead of where we were before COVID came. So demand is there, and that's the most important thing. And the second thing is we haven't wasted this time. We've repivoted our business. We've got a very strong logistics business. We're bringing in freighters We've converted a lot of we are converting a lot of our aircraft into cargo aircraft, and that has supplemented our passenger business. And our digital business is far ahead of where we thought we would be. And that's one of the benefits of COVID. It's enabled us to really strategically look at our digital assets and build 3 or 4 great businesses.
You've always been a low-cost carrier, and that's how your business has benefited from people looking for cheap fares. What are fares going to look like in a post-pandemic world? And these people that have credit with your airlines, is it going to be like for like, that if they had a flight booked from KL to, say, Singapore, is that credit still going to get them on that flight?
Yeah, very much. I mean, look, our philosophy is all about low fares. And obviously the competitive environment is going to be better. So there may be a slightly firming of airfares, but when you're talking about the fares, if it was like $50, it may go to $55. But fares are going to be still, that's our mantra. We're all about stimulating demand. We're not about increasing fares and killing off demand. And especially in this economic climate, airlines such as AirAsia will benefit from a slowdown in the economy. And so we're not going to kill the goose that lays the golden eggs. It's all about low fares. Our cost structure is phenomenally better. Again, we've used 2020 to restructure our costs. We were the lowest cost airline and will be even lower cost. And so I anticipate fares to be more or less the same. But obviously the competitive environment will mean that fares that were really unrealistic because of crazy competition will now go back to a more realistic level, but still be very, very low.
Tony, of late, I think Karen Chan, your Asia CEO, and yourself have been really talking and pushing the whole digital aspect of the business. Tell us a bit more about that, because I think one of you said that you're going to become essentially a tech firm with aircraft.
Yeah, I mean, well, I didn't say that, but that is probably quite accurate. We were always a tech firm anyway, because we were the first airline to sell on the internet. So we've now taken our platform, AirAsia.com, which only used to sell AirAsia tickets, and now we're basically an OTA. We're no different from Expedia or Booking or Traveloka. We've just done a big deal with Turkish. We're working with other airlines that are going to be joining us. We have our own hotel supply, our own activities and deals, and so we're no different from any other OTA, though we have our own flights as well, which gives us a little bit of an advantage. We're building a very strong health tourism product and a religious tourism product, which is different from other OTAs. And on the other platform, we've started food delivery and fresh food delivery and travel retail. And finally, our fintech divisions, BigPay, really going gangbusters. We've just got a license in Singapore. We're applying for 2 more countries in ASEAN. And so we've got a fantastic ecosystem of e-commerce, logistics, and fintech. And so that ecosystem is going to really be helping. And we have fantastic data from our airlines, and of course the physical aspect of moving goods around. So it's a fantastic synergy that we put together, AirAsia Digital and AirAsia the airline.
And I suppose your food delivery will be called "And Now Everyone Can Eat." But joking aside, when you were going back to your India answer, I mean, I got the feeling there, Tony, that you are almost on the verge of exiting India. Are you?
Well, we'll wait and see. I'm not going to announce it on Bloomberg, but we've got great partnerships with the Tatas, and we're also expanding our relationship on the digital front because they're also building their super app. So we're evaluating, and then at the right time we'll make the announcements. But definitely our strength is Southeast Asia, and that's where most of our expansion is going to be over the next 2 to 3 years.
Let's talk, you touched there on the digital banking license, but we've heard Ant and Grab did win licenses here in Singapore to get digital banks. Where is AirAsia Group on this front?
Well, we didn't apply for Singapore license. We are in the sandbox in Malaysia, and we're applying in 2 other countries. We're also debating whether we need to be a bank going forward, and so. But we are going to apply in Malaysia and 2 other ASEAN countries for a digital bank license. Right now we have payment, we have remittances, and our remittances are growing by 50% every month. We're very excited by that. We've just got our lending license in Malaysia, and we'll start lending in January. and we're working on insurance and insurance marketplace and a wealth management. We think our customers, a lot of them are millennials, a lot of them are on less income, don't have access to good financial services, and a lot of them are unbanked. So it's a fantastic kind of synergy between the airlines customers and providing them now financial services.
Tony, there's been a lot of concern with planes grounded for so long that pilots may be out of action and haven't had enough practice. How are your pilots faring? Are they getting simulated training?
It's packed, and the pilots are going through the recurrent. Again, it's no different. No one will be allowed to fly without their recurrent and training. It's all regulated by the regulators. I don't see that as an issue at all. In terms of aircraft, look, this isn't the first time we had 9/11. There have been many times where aircraft have been grounded. Aircraft manufacturers, engineers are well trained on restarting the fleet, and I see zero issue on there. But in terms of pilot training, they're back in the sim, and they'll get cleared before they get back onto an aircraft.
Tony, just a final question here, just for you. We've had a guest on actually last week suggesting that the long-haul low-cost model was effectively dead. Would you agree with him with regards to AirAsia X?
No, totally not. I mean, obviously, AirAsia X is being restructured at the moment. AirAsia X has had the unfortunate side of having an enormous amounts of unfair competition. That's coming to an end. It's a great model. It carried 10 million people. Long haul is a kind of a bastardized word, to be honest. Where AirAsia X is really medium haul. It's the sweet spot where really, AirAsia flies up to 4 hours. And really, if you look at the majority of AirAsia X destinations, it's 4 hours to about 8 hours. And in fact, with the new kit that Airbus have come out with and Boeing have come out with, a lot of these routes could be done with an A321. Or a 737-9. So we think this medium haul model is here to stay. In terms of a long haul model, 12 hours, there are a few routes that can do it. But I've always said that AirAsia X is really a medium haul airline. We think it's going to be very successful now that the competitive marketplace has sorted itself out. We need to be restructured. We need to support our creditors. But we think there's a good future ahead for AirAsia X.
Tony, we love getting viewer questions on our program, and we do have one about your shirt. Where did you get it from? We love it.
Dries Van Noten, soon to be available on AirAsia Shop. I thought I would change the feeling of the Bloomberg interviewer to wear a suit, so I thought I'd be a little bit colourful, as both of you are very colourful, especially Rish.